Hello class, Professor Arnold. I'm going to go over your week 2 assignments. So I tried to record this with my video on so you could see me as well as hear me, but it ended up freezing up. So I just decided it was more important for you to hear me and see the screen than it was to actually see me. So just follow along as best you can. For the personality test for week 2, Giant now is making everyone pay a fee to get their full report. Again, you can do that if you so choose. However, the link that I provided in the news section of the class, which you should, when you log into your class, this should be the first thing you see. Go to the link that's here, sign in, create account, and at least you will be able to see your first voice, which is not ideal because, previously you could see all of your voices in order of where you're at, and then as well, a lot of other pertinent information that just kind of really helps you learn about how you communicate. Some of you may already know this and taken other personality assessments along this line. However, Giant does it a little bit different, and MacU does partner with Giant International as an account and stuff, and every employee goes through Giant training. It's a year. It's a year. A year training. It's it's kind of intensive, but I guess you don't get into all the corporate stuff like that, but I do find a lot of value in what Giant has to offer in their platform. And the first thing is doing these personality tests to find, how your communication style. And so whether, you may know I do this or I do that and stuff, but it goes into a little bit more depth. And again, you can also, have your partner, spouse, significant other, your kids, make it kind of a family thing. Hey, mom and dad's in college. We got this assignment to do. Hey, let's all do this to find out our communication style. And so, it could be beneficial to, for those of you in relationships and even your children, if you don't understand why they're doing what they're doing in some way or the other. Unfortunately, again, you don't get the full scope, but you get enough that, it is helpful. Okay. With that too, they're still having some Microsoft 365 issues. And so if you have not downloaded Microsoft Office 365 previously, then you will not have access to Microsoft 365 in doing your assignments. So, obviously, I'm going to be lenient, but you also have to let me know if you fall into this category, okay? And so you might be able to use Google Docs and Google Slides. Google Docs is an online feature, and so if you can use Google Docs, use it. It's not ideal. It will change the formatting. This week 1, really, again, of course, we're into week 2 now. Hopefully it'll be done by the end of this week, which, it is what it is. You're really getting into the how to really start building this APA 7 Word document and kind of what goes where, what to put in the introduction of your paper, and, how to find credible resources, going out on the web and just finding whatever website you think has the pertinent information in there may not really be what you need to do. Again, every university has a library, and it's there for you to use as part of your tuition and fees. So why not utilize your library that you, again, as part of your tuition helps pay for, but it also has credible resources. You have a vast system of information at your fingertips, literally. And so to not use that information would really be a shame and a waste. And so you all are going to be utilizing that in this class and you will not be utilizing resources outside of the library when we get into this week. All right, so let's kind of get on into week 2, and let's kind of start from there. Again, the 16 personalities test, there's nothing wrong with that, and so take the boy. And also, you need to start linking your discussions to your textbook, because this is what you're going to be doing for every other class. So read chapter 2.5. It's pretty short. It doesn't take long to read this book. It's very quick. Doesn't take any time at all. And also link the book. All right. And so in here, it's going to ask you to, what's your communication, weapon style. You're not going to know that. You might be able to do a Google search in, as whatever your first voice is. You might be able to do a Google search in, what is my communication weapon style if I'm a connector through Giant Worldwide. And you might find other archived websites that have that information on there. I don't know. I haven't done that personally right now. I just kind of really thought about it. So, if all else fails, use what I call the Google. The Google knows everything, right? Well, it doesn't really know everything, but it has access to virtually limitless information. But like I said, all of it's not credible. Some of it is, just downright not true at all. A lot of it's about opinions of certain people and things, and to push, certain agendas. And then you have peer-based journals that have been written by scholars, and a jury of their peers, not really a jury, but a consortium of their peers have read their published work and or soon to be published work to give insight for its validity. Does it, does the author meet their thesis statement? Do they prove, disprove, or, do they, again, so they kind of help keep their peers on track, and by these peer-reviewed journals. And so, they may go through several drafts before it's actually ready for publication, because it's peer-reviewed by other scholars in their field. And so this is why we use credible resources such as peer-reviewed journals for accuracy. Okay? All right, so in your discussion, and even if you're going to join the Zoom, if you're online and joining us online, you'll need to also do this, because we're going to talk about this in class. So everybody needs to do this to do the assessments. And we're not going to spend a vast amount of time on it, but we are going to spend a little bit of time on there and just kind of relating your voice and kind of go from there. All right. Time management. Time management is one of the most important things you can do as a college student, because among your already busy life as an adult, as a wife, a husband, a parent, a son, a daughter, whatever category you want to place yourself into, and maybe all of them, working a full-time job, or maybe 2 jobs or 3 jobs, and now you're adding school on top of that. It can be difficult, but it can be done. Yes, you may have 2 or 3 kids, and yes, you have a busy life, and yes, you work full time, but you signed up to take classes. And so you also need to give the due diligence in your schoolwork as you would anything else in your life, because you are investing in yourself. You are investing in your family's future, and you also are modeling behaviors to your children in saying to them, yes, it's hard, but I'm doing it. And so you're modeling to them behaviors that should be looked upon as a good thing, right? And so maybe you're the first person to enroll in college. And so let's finish what you started, right? And let's be the first person to graduate from college in your family, and to really model that behavior that you can change anything in your life with hard work. And college is going to be hard work. It's not going to be necessarily hard. It's going to be hard work in that you're juggling many things. And that's where many people tend to drop out, because they can't manage the day-to-day of everything. All right. And so we're trying to help you, circumvent some of this and help you to be successful if you'll follow some of these tools. But again, this is an overview of a time management schedule, and what works for you may be different than what we're giving you tips and tricks on. And again, this isn't the end all be all, but overall, take the information, utilize it to how it works with you best. And to keep doing this for every class. What I see is that, especially if you're in my class and then you're in my history class, per se, and then you're contacting me and going, Professor Arnold, I can't get my assignments in this week, and blah 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 happened. And so I'm going to ask you, are you still keeping a time management schedule? And if you tell me no, then I'm going to ask you why not. And so again, life happens. We understand that. And you can't plan for uncertainties, of course. However, you can look at your schedule and you can tentatively plan around your other needs in life and to find study time. Thousands of people before you have done it. It works, but you have to utilize it. And it's going to take work for you to do it. All right? Print it out. Studies have shown, you can create a time management schedule, but if you don't see it every day, you're not going to follow it every day. So print it out. You have a good support system, right? Have them help you stay accountable for your study time, right? So if you print it out, you put it on the refrigerator, even if it's, you're with, all your family's at home, it can let them know, hey, this is mom or dad's study time. When I get done with this, let them give you your due diligence to do what you need to do. And then it's family time, right? And so, but the one thing I always tell students is to always, always, always create time for yourself regardless. Give yourself a day off, because you can study too much. And as you will see, if you will watch Marty Lobdell's video in the Study Less, Study Smart, he gives you some really good tips and tricks on how to study. Because most of us, when we were in school, it may be a long time ago, we were never taught how to study. We had a big test, you kind of, especially if you were in sports or band or choir or, whatever club, those were the fun things we wanted to do, right? And so studying wasn't always a first priority, but it happened, and sometimes maybe it happened the night before a big test, right? You cram all night, stay up all night studying. Well, what you remember is probably not a lot. And so, again, watch the video, connect back to the video in your writing. All right. And again, you need to read chapter 3. Again, these chapters are not long. They're they're pretty short. They're to the point, and you need to be utilizing the, incorporating the textbook into your assignments, right? As an informed paper, right? It's not just a personal narrative. You need to get out of the personal narrative focus when you're writing and more into that informed writing, that critical thinking writing, where you're using sources to back up your what it says that you're answering for the assignments. Okay. As an adult, of course, you're going to have a lot of common knowledge as well, and so you can utilize that too. But for the time management, it's really just creating a schedule. Download the calendar in a Word or Excel, but you also need to add up no less than 15 hours of study time in your schedule. It's not for me to do, it's for you to do. If you don't add up 15 hours in your week, I'm going to ask you to redo it and resubmit it. Okay? One thing in this class is that I'm going to ask you to do a lot. If it's not correct, is for you to, I'm going to give you good feedback, and I'm going to ask you to resubmit, because I want you to learn the process. And that is sometimes the most difficult thing to do, is kind of learning the process, the kind of the main foundation, which is going to be, again, as we see, writing these papers. And so if you learn how to do that in this class, it's going to make your life much easier when you go to your next classes. Okay? And then it's going to become second nature. Anything that you can do, it's going, for a habit, it takes you at least 3 weeks to do it consistently to be a habit. This class is 5 weeks. It's important to set good habits now, because then you will be into that habit, and it will become, again, second nature as you go through school. It will make your life much easier, I promise you. But again, always schedule one day for no study time, because you got to have that time. All right. For the first academic writing, the introduction is probably one of the most important parts of your paper, because, and it's, like it says, it can be the most difficult to start, because you're setting up the whole precedence for your paper, right? And so so give yourself a good introduction. Give yourself a good hook, right? Again, you're going to be researching and doing a research project of your choice over something of your interest. And so at this point, you're going to be the subject matter expert, theoretically, for this paper. All right, I'm going to give you some insight and give you some guidelines on formatting and where everything goes each week, but I'm also going to help you understand and not just give you a grade. I'm not going to give you a grade until it's somewhat correct. And so at some point, if it's still not correct, I'm going to give you insight how to to continue to work on correcting it, but then we'll give you the grade, because I don't want to overwhelm you and frustrate you. You're going to be frustrated enough, I can promise you. But take all of this as a learning experience into learning how to write that you will not get anywhere else, because no one else teaches you how to write. And especially, and how to cite your sources. You're expected to do this on your own as a student, unless you're in this class. Okay, and so take that to your advantage. Whatever reason, I can't get this to work, and so it should work on your computers. Whatever, mine doesn't want to work, but you should be able to see all that. For your skill building in this information literacy, you're going to be. This is where I talked about the library before, right? You're going to be finding resources for your paper, for your topic that you chose for that topic 5 in week 1. You're going to be analyzing your resources and telling me through an annotated bibliography, which annotation is kind of a highlight of what your source is describing. And so, is it relevant? Is it recent? And is it reliable? If you use a MacU library, it's going to be reliable because it's peer-reviewed journals, right? But is it recent? And so the source can, depending on your topic, if your source was published in 2010, and while that's fairly recent, depending on the topic, there's been a lot more research done since then. And so even though it's recent, relatively, it may not be relevant. Now, because there's been other research that has been done with more information than what was done in 2010. All right. And so always look for the most recent articles, journals for your subject. Okay. Just don't pick the first 2 that pop up. Again, what you put in is what you get out. And You may not be, we say, I'm not a very detailed person. Well, I'm not either necessarily, but I've learned to be over the years because I found that, again, what I put in is what I get out, and I want, what I present to be done correctly. And so you all are learning. It's not going to be correct, I can promise you, but I will help you make it correct in my feedback, and then also having you redo. And so if if I just give you a grade, you're not going to learn anything. You're going to learn what you did wrong, but you're not going to be then applying what you did wrong to correct it and then to resubmit it. And that's the learning process. That's what I want you to do. Okay? So you're going to, again, looking for resources in the MacU library. And so you can click on the link, and it's going to send you to the MacU library homepage. All right, so you can simply do a search in the keyword search here, and you can do a lot of things. You can look at further databases. You can go to databases and research, and here you'll find a lot of databases. Okay, and some, at this point you're going to get overwhelmed. There's 70 databases found. All right, what do you need based on your subject matter? But look what pops up here. MacU library. There's someone, we are in summer sessions, and so the library is open till 8 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Thursday, and then it's closed on the weekends, and then I think it closes at 5 o'clock on Friday. So Monday through Thursday, if you're on there and library is open, there is someone there to help you. You can chat now, and the librarian will help you with searching for your subject, your topic matter. Okay, but also to kind of just do an overview. If you're say if I tell you in your choice of your week 5 topic, it's a very broad topic. You need to bring it down to something that's a little bit more specific. Okay, if you go to this Credo references here, it's going to kind of create a what we call a mind map. Okay, and so I'm just going to click on climate change, just to put one up here, and just to show you what it does. Okay, and so in climate change, it's going to give you further information about climate change and some of the subtopics that are available, like climate and weather and global warming and greenhouse gas, and all of these things. And if you click on one of those, it's going to then bring up another mind map that's going to bring this topic even more, like oxygen and carbon and methane and nitrogen and carbon monoxide. And so again, so you can see the links, right? With global warming and carbon dioxide, greenhouse gas and carbon dioxide, fossil fuels and carbon, all of these link, right? All of these link, and you can see the links further with carbon monoxide and fossil fuels, right? You see oxygen, climate change, but you see further connections in your links from climate change to greenhouse gas to this Kyoto Protocol, right? And so there's other links that you can see, that connect again. So, look at the links, right? Here you have methane that goes with global warming as well, but global warming again goes to climate change, right? And then goes to greenhouse gas, and then goes to, and so they kind of, you can see the interconnection. Some don't connect, but when you look, you see nitrogen, methane, carbon, and oxygen all connect to the other 4 on the other side. Well, there's something going on there, right? And so you can look at it in a little bit more in more context. Okay, again, you can see here more library resources, and so you can go through there. There's some books as well, other things, but you can also go through library. So if we click on the carbon dioxide, and that's from the Library of Health and Living. All right, always also known as CO2, and it kind of gives you a little explanation about what carbon dioxide is. All right, and depending on what your paper is going to be about, this might be, a good short resource to use. But here is another reason why I want you to utilize the MacU library, is because at the top here it says citation. And so you can click on your citation and look there. Here is the APA reference. So all you need to do now is copy and paste, and you will insert that in your reference section in your and for this week it's going to be your annotated bibliography. In the end, it's going to be your reference pages. Copy and paste, done. You don't have to think about it. And so another reason to use credible resources. We go back to well, I did that here, so let's go even back further. So let's get out of that and go into other databases. EBSCO Discovery Services is another good database as far as that goes too. A lot of great journals that are in here for you all to look and search over, and you can put your search in here. So if I put in here, and see, I put greenhouse and then popular terms, and so let's put greenhouse gases and then hit search. Alright, so it's going to be looking for stuff, and so then why you want to go to the full text online articles and peer reviewed. So let's make sure we click on all of these little boxes, and you can also slide your little slider publication date, because we want to do current data. So let's go 2015 to 2023. All right, and so we still have 72,430 resources that pulled up. That's a lot, right? So do I want you to go through all that? No. As you can read in the description, is an integrated view of correlated emissions of greenhouse gases and air pollutants in China. Now, if that's your subject matter for China, then that's fine. But if it's for America, it's not fine. So you would not choose an article about China if you're writing about America. Okay, so again, you can find stuff. Of course, with global populations, China and India are the two most populous countries, and they are the ones that are really emitting all of these greenhouse gases that are affecting our climate. And I'm sorry if you don't believe as such. There's too much evidence to refute that. But anyhow. Again, look for something that is relevant to your paper, all right? And so you may need to go, greenhouse gases in America. And so it's going to give it a little bit. So now we have 117 from that 72,000, okay? And so, America, now it's going Latin America and South America. And so we might want to even bring that down more to the United States. And so I kind of think where I'm kind of going with this, all right? And so, again, now we have more articles, and that's okay. Again, it gives you options. And so you would go through and you would link, you would find whatever. And you want you want to be able to read the whole article, not just an abstract. Abstract's not going to do you any good, because you're not getting the full contextual information from the full article. So do not use sources that just show an abstract. That's no point. Find the whole article. All right. So you can click on the article and read it, which is good, and it'll pull it up slowly. And see, and so again, you see the abstract that I'm talking about as far as in your paper, but then you have all of the other information. So utilize what you have. You have other links on the side as well, and so go back to the result list as well, and you can click on, not that one. go back to that one there. And so again, when you look in the papers and you're reading it, you'll see cite. All right, and so at this point, you will just scroll down. Right there is your APA 7th edition reference. Copy and paste it to your reference page. These are going to be single-spaced. Everything you do when you write for your papers are going to be double-spaced. You'll see that in your papers that you'll download. You'll see everything is double-spaced. Again, don't add extra spaces. They're already formatted for you. And so, when you copy and paste that into your reference page, it may change the formatting to single space, but you can simply change it back to double space. So this is why, we use the MacU library, because it does things for us that we want it to do. Give us information, give us credible resources, give us relevant information, but it also gives us citations, okay? And so this is why we use it. All right. Close that up, and we'll go from there. All right. So if any of you have, needs, wants, questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You're doing a good job of that so far. And so keep it up. And until next time, see you later.